The criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs is currently unfolding in the United States Federal Court in New York City, and it has captured the attention of fans and foes alike. But in the thick of all the sensational and salacious allegations that have surfaced, it's hard to follow what's really happening with the case that could put the disgraced music mogul in jail for life. Combs is facing multiple charges, which the US government alleges are for crimes that took place over more than 20 years and across multiple states. Combs has pleaded not guilty and has denied any wrongdoing. But here's how he ended up in the courtroom in the first place. Let's go back to where this all started. In November 2023, Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs, alleging he had trafficked, sexually assaulted, and physically abused her over the course of their relationship, which was on and off for more than a decade. Cassie and Diddy met when Cassie was 19 years old. She was an aspiring singer on the cusp of stardom, having signed a record deal with Diddy's label, Bad Boy Records. Diddy was 37 years old at the time, and the pair were in a relationship until 2018. Cassie's lawsuit alleges she suffered violent abuse at the hands of Combs, regular beatings that left her bleeding with bruises and black eyes. Cassie also described freak-offs for the first time. She alleged that she and others were forced to participate in brutal sex parties and drug-fueled sexual performances that lasted hours or even days. On November 16, 2023, Cassie filed her lawsuit against Combs, and it was settled after just one day. Later on, during the sex trafficking trial of Combs, it's been reported that the settlement was for $20 million. Combs' legal team has since claimed it was Cassie Ventura's lawsuit that kicked off the federal investigation into Diddy's alleged behaviour. That investigation has included simultaneous raids of two of Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami in March of 2024. Federal agents took evidence from the homes during these raids, including digital evidence. September 2024. The federal grand jury indictment comes down. Diddy is arrested at a Manhattan hotel and through his lawyers maintains his innocence. Sean Combs is charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He was taken into custody where he has remained these last 8 months at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. Now, this federal jail is notorious and in recent years has detained high-profile inmates like cryptocurrency fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried, singer R. Kelly, and Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. So, what do these charges actually mean? The federal indictment alleges that from at least 2008 through to the present, Sean Combs led a criminal enterprise that existed to facilitate his abuse and exploitation of women, to protect his reputation, and to conceal his conduct. As part of that alleged criminal enterprise, Sean Combs, along with other members and associates of the enterprise, are accused of committing crimes including sex trafficking, forced labour, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. In the charges of sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution, the government is accusing Combs of coercing women into participating in commercial sex acts with him and with male sex workers. It's alleged that sex workers and others were flown across state lines to participate in these so-called freak-offs. One of the interesting and more complex parts of this case is the racketeering charge. Racketeering, or RICO charges as they're often called, are what federal agents use in instances of organised crime. It's traditionally been for prosecuting the mob and mob leaders. In the Diddy trial, prosecutors say that while Sean Combs had a legitimate business empire, including his record label, an alcohol brand, clothing company, and more, he has used this business empire to both fuel and hide criminal activity. RICO charges are notoriously difficult to defend yourself against, but can the prosecution convince jurors that Sean Combs was the head of a criminal organisation? That remains to be seen as the trial continues for many more weeks. Separate to the criminal trial, Sean Combs is at the centre of more than 60 civil lawsuits alleging sexual assault. Some accusers were minors at the time of the offending. Nine's Christina Hearn spoke with lawyer Andrew Van Arsdale, an attorney representing 37 individual civil cases against Sean Combs. What's extraordinary about Andrew Van Arsdale's work is that these cases have come from an unlikely source. In conjunction with his AVA law practice, a call centre in Billings, Montana has played a vital role in collating the stories of alleged victims. Ads on social media and a press conference helped to prompt 15,000 calls from people detailing decades of alleged abuse by Sean Combs. Andrew Van Arsdale says that regardless of the result of the criminal trial in New York, these civil cases are going ahead. The criminal trial is just the beginning of what will be a very long judicial process for Sean Combs, and Andrew Van Arsdale told 60 Minutes that his firm has hundreds of other lawsuits being prepared to be filed. Van Arsdale believes if Diddy is ultimately found guilty in the federal trial, a lot more people will come forward. So what's next? There are still many weeks to go in the criminal trial and many more witnesses to be called to the stand. At the end of it all, 12 jurors will have to decide on the evidence they have heard in the courtroom. If convicted, Sean Combs faces life in prison.